Hey everybody, it's Georgia Weedman, author of Penetration Testing, a hands-on introduction to hacking, and your instructor for this accompanying lab. So this time we're going to take a look at Metasploit's post-exploitation modules. So there are quite a lot of them. You can go to user, typing is good, user share, Metasploit-framework, and then modules, and post if you want to see them all. So they have them for lots of different platforms. And so, I encourage you to, take a look at them. They are written in Ruby, of course. And so let's go ahead and open up MSF console. This is another one where we hit that Samba exploit. You can do the nmap and whatnot, but you've seen it in the videos so many times by this point. So we want to use our exploit Linux Samba something. I love tab complete is known pipe name. I guess we need to know our IP address so we know where to send it. Luckily we can exec through MSF console and get that. Again, yours will be different than mine. And then our target is going to be .3. Should just be able to set it off, use the default payload, and let it go. And we get our command shell. We can, as we did in a previous one, upload this or upgrade this to Meterpreter if we want to. But that's not actually our job for this one. So if we do a who am I'm root, I can, like we did previously when we were looking at sessions, we can do a Control-Z to background the session. Yes, we'd like to background it and keep it open, and from then we can use post modules. If you look at the lab manual for this one, it has a list of 10 post modules that encourages you to use. You don't necessarily have to stick to those. I mean, it's a lab, so try whatever you want. But anything for Linux or some of them for multi, you should be able to get it to work. So the first one that it asks you to do, you use your post modules exactly like you use any other module. So it's use and then module name, use post. Let's pull this over here. I'm not entirely sure where my head is ending up in this video. Post Linux gather enum underscore configs. And one of the great things about post modules is if we do a show options, all you have to do is tell it the session you want to run it through. We currently only have one session. In one of our previous videos, when we upgraded it to Meterpreter, we then now have a second session. You can have tons of sessions. If you're, exploiting a local network, you may have, tons of sessions that you have to deal with. But so you just need to give it the session ID, which we can always do just the sessions command to see them. We only have one, so the ID is 1. So if we set session to 1, there are no payloads for these. They're not exploits. All this is going to do is run the post-exploitation commands on the open session. So, run and exploit and all that are all, alias together. And so it grabs configurations, and it does, instead of just printing it out to the screen, it does write them to, just like we saw with the .ssh is a hidden, configuration directory for SSH. There's, when you install Metasploit on Linux, you get .msf4, and it will put the data there. Let's go ahead and open another terminal, and if we cat out that file, actually I want to paste here. Like here's the valid login shells and CA certificate, LDAP, system control. We can look at what it found. Again, it's a lab machine. It's not going to be like, you're not going to get Active Directory control over it. Oops. Because it's not executable. It said permissions denied because I just tried to execute a text file. Oops. And then, different things in there. So I'll show you one more. I'm not going to do all 10 because it would be, a really long video, but I do encourage you to run all 10 as well as, any others that you might want to. So we could also do use, post, Linux, gather, and check VM. So as the name implies, this one is going to check whether this is a VM. Set session 1 and run. And this one got angry. Gathering system instance. Oh, I did something wrong. Show options. Set session 1. It says session may not be compatible with this module, which makes absolutely no sense. See if exploit makes any difference. They should just be aliased. Call stack. Yeah, it actually just calls run. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure what's up with that. That's lousy because it ruined my video. Weird. It says it works in the lab manual. But alright, I'll do another one then. And make sure this gets fixed. That is kind of one of the things about Metasploit is that, it's so big and it's, community maintained a lot. So, things may break. I always joke, I never update anything before I have to teach a class because who knows what's going to break. Things break. That happens. So set session 1. So this is going to enumerate the history of the users. And again, we get our loot. And most of these have never logged in. I guess nobody's ever logged in. That's not very exciting, is it? Well, it's a box. So for the lab. But anyway, there's your examples of some post modules as well as an example of something going wrong. I mean, it didn't go wrong in a horrible way. We didn't break anything. I mean, it just didn't work. We didn't get what we wanted, which, in terms of things that can go wrong is not that big a deal. But anyway, I do encourage you to run the modules. I do encourage you to look at other ones. I mean, these are specifically for Linux because that's what our target is, but they do have post for, as we saw, lots of different platforms. And so, yeah, they're very helpful. Definitely worth knowing. I mean, it's not anything that you couldn't do, like if you scripted on the target side, but it saves you a lot of time and effort, which is great. So that's all for this one, and I will see you next time as we continue with post exploitation.